Hello students, today we will understand action of lens as a set of prism. Very interesting topic it is. Okay, you feel really understanding and interesting in this, and once you understand this, the complete ray diagrams and the action of lens will be clear in your mind. Okay, that means this says that lens acts like prism, or in lens there are set of prisms. Let us understand what it is. First I will draw convex lens. Okay, this is convex lens, biconvex lens. Okay, because the edges are bulged outward, so it is a convex lens. If you observe very clearly, please observe the dotted lines which I am trying to show you. Okay, so this particular one is like a prism, and this is another one is like a prism. Of course it is having a rounded edge, but almost this particular edge will act like prism, and this particular edge of the convex lens will act like prism. The action of this will be literally like prism. And one more thing you observe, the base of these prisms are inwards. Okay, for this prism this is the base which is inward, and for this prism the base is inward. So base is inward. This is the real thing which you have to understand. Okay, see what I say. That is, just I'll recall the prism, okay, and we'll understand what happens with the prism when the ray of light enters into it. When the ray of light enters into it, the ray of light travels almost parallel to base, and when it emerges out, please hear the concept is, when it emerges out, it emerges very close to prism, very close to the base of the prism. So here also same thing will happen, isn't it? Like suppose if this is the ray of light which is passing through this particular edge, okay, it travels parallel to it, and because this is acting like a prism, so whenever the ray of light emerges, it emerges very close to the base, bending towards the base. There it is, the ray of light comes out like this. Okay, similar thing happens with this also. Whenever the ray of light enters into it, okay, it travels parallel to it, okay, parallel to it, and it bends towards the base. So what had happened? Here the action, the rays of light are converging. Why the lens is called converging? The secret is over here. Okay, the secret lies over here, because the edges of the convex lens are acting like prism. They are set of prisms, okay, and their base is inwards. That is why whenever the ray of light enters into the convex lens, then the ray of light bend towards their bases. And overall action for us, how does it look? That the rays of light are converging. So let it be how many rays. And one more interesting thing, the more the ray of light comes from the edge, okay, let it comes from the edge, to whichever edge it comes, it bends more towards the base. This is interesting. Okay, so whenever the ray of light passes through the edge of this, then it bends more and more towards the base. That means it converges and converges towards it. So overall the action is seen that whenever the rays of light are passing through the lens, then maximum rays of light will converge at one point. The secret behind this is the set of the prisms. Okay, now let us come to the center point of this one. Okay, this center portion of this lens, because we have divided this lens into three parts, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, first and third parts are prisms. Okay, we understood very clearly their action. Okay, now let us understand about the middle portion, that is second portion. Second portion is nothing but, if you observe carefully, the dotted lines which I have drawn, they are parallel to each other. Surprised, isn't it? So that means if the surfaces are parallel to each other, then where do we discuss this particular thing? In glass slab. That means middle portion, almost 90% it acts like glass slab. So whenever the ray of light falls on this surface, which we are assuming to be a glass slab, or which is acting like a glass slab, then the ray of light is travelling perpendicular to the surface. So it will move off through the lens undeviated. Okay, so the rays of light which are moving from the center of the lens, they move undeviated, and the rays of light which are trying to pass through the edge of the convex lens, they will try to converge. Finally, these converged rays and these what you call it as undeviated rays, they all will meet at one single point definitely, and that point only we call it as focus of this convex lens. So now it is very clear in our mind that why do we call convex lens as converging lens? Because the secret behind that is nothing but the prisms, set of prisms. Not only they are prisms, they may not look exactly like prisms, but their action is exactly like a prism. Okay, even even in some of the concepts we consider raindrops also acts like prism. That's why they disperse the ray of light into 7 colors. Raindrops act like prisms. That's why they can disperse the ray of light into 7 colors. It is exactly. But when you think of the shape of the raindrop, you don't get that exactly in a sense of prism. But of course, it acts like a prism. I hope you understood this concept very clearly.